Hi everyone, welcome to the channel Bharat Jain D365. So today let's try to explore management reporting tool or financial reports. So generally when we implement the F&O from the finance perspective, the end users come up with report requirement like they want P&L report and they want the balance sheet report. So let's try to understand the basics of MR report and let's see how we can configure MR reports in the MR report tool. So let's say I want to do the MR report or using the newly called as the financial reporting. So let's try to understand a little bit of basics, right? So when you want to define the financial report, you can do at main account level, like each main account we can add in the report so that you can see the report or the transactions of each level and the balances according to main account that we have added in the report. Or we can see based on main account category. So when you do category level, let's say we have five different main accounts under, let's take sales as an example. So sales is a category that I have created and I have five different main accounts, but in the report I can only see sales and the total amount because the report is at category level, whereas here I can do at main account level. In case if I have five different main accounts, each main account transaction can be seen in the report. So that's how you do at the main account level. So depending upon the client requirement, we can either pick main account or main account category. So today let's try to understand from main account perspective. So let's say I want to define one P&L report. So before that, let me just take one example for what kind of report we're gonna see. So let me quickly go to the financial dimensions and see what kind of dimensions I can use it. Um, Okay, I think we've added business unit in my account structure. So let me take the business unit dimension values. So let's say I want a P&L report based on my business unit. So let's say the client requires a P&L report by business unit. So let's pick just three values here, probably like auto, then electronics and sporting. Just as an example, I'm picking these three values. So I want to see a financial report based on my P&L account for P&L by business unit. Now that's the requirement. So you have something called as row definition. These are the building blocks when you're creating management reporting, right? Then you have column definition and you have report definition. So what is row definition? There are a lot of explanation given on the online, so we will do more of practical rather than discussing theory, right? So row definition is what main accounts you want to add, so at the row level. Column definition is what columns you want to add. For example, P&L by business unit, right? So business unit my dimension. Now inside dimension value, these are all the different columns that I can add. For example, let's just pick like two or three to understand it, right? So that's your column definition. Report definition is connecting row and column together becomes my report definition. So that's the simple example or the simple explanation of row column report definition. So let's see more of practical, right? So now let's go to row. So here you can see I have drawn out a main account level row definition in an Excel sheet. So here, if you see here, I have created income. Now under income header, I've added like three main accounts, then the total income. Then I have created COGS. Under that, I have added few accounts and total COGS. Now, what main accounts need to be added under which header and what is the header? This is something what the end user will give us. So it's their responsibility to help us to draw this in an Excel sheet. Once you get this, then it's our responsibility to build this report in the system, right? So in the Excel sheet is something what the end user would keep. So here you got these details. So once you got these details, now let's see how this row definition can be defined in the MR report tool. So let's go to the system. So to go to report editor, go to general ledger, inquiries and reports, financial reports. Once you come here, you can see there are a few default reports. So let's create new, click on edit to open our MR report tool. Once you click on edit, it will ask you to log in with your ID and it will take some time to load. So you can see currently, I think it's still loading. It usually takes some time to load the MR report tool. So Once the MR report tool is open, as I told you, you can see you have report definition, row definition, column definition. There are other things which we'll probably see in coming days. So let's say I want to create a row definition. So click on row definition. Now here you can see all the existing row definition. Click on new to create a new row definition. So this is the blank, something similar to Excel sheet, right? So I want to create a row definition here. So how do you create? If you remember, so in the initial thing, I have drawn out an Excel sheet. So the same thing, let's try to copy and put it to our row definition. So whatever I see here, just copy this and put it in the description. So because this is what I want to see. Now once I add here, now how does the system understand what main account information it has to pick? Because this is just a description, right? So that is where we need to link this to financial dimension. Now let's go back to system here. So I had opened the financial dimension. Let me quickly go through. So in the financial dimension, if you remember, business unit is what I want to use. So how does the system understand business unit dimension should come into MR report tool is if you go to general ledger setup, you have something called as financial reporting setup. Make sure you add a financial dimension that is required in your MR report to be added here. So once you add here, only that will reflect in the MR reporting. So currently I have selected main account because I would need main account. Then I have selected business unit. In case if you need additional dimensions, whatever dimensions you have created would reflect here. You can add that which will be available in your MR report. Now let's go back to report. So I have selected income, then I've added a particular main account. Now for the system to understand that this main account value has to be picked, if I come in the J column, you can see there is something called as link to financial dimension. So double click on that. So once I double click, you can see all the values existing here. So I need to pick business unit. So main account, and then I can see this is the business unit. So if I double click again here, I can see values. So you can give range. Now I want, sorry, this should be main account. I don't want business unit here. So I want main account. And what is the number? 401100. So let's go to main account. Select that particular main account here, 401100. So you can select individual main account. You can select range of main account from and to in case if it's in sequential order, or you can select total account. Like if I select this, in MSD we have something called as total accounts. So you can add here and do only on total account basis. So currently I'm going to do individual level. Okay, I'm not taking any range. So select the main account and click OK. So now if you see here, for this particular row, system is going to pick value only from this main account because I've added the filter financial dimensions. So that's how you connect the main account. Now let me quickly do for the remaining main accounts. So I've added the same, financial dimension for all the main accounts. So all the main accounts would be filtered based on the dimension that I have connected, which is nothing but main account. So once you do that, now let's say I want to see total income. So how do I add total income? So now I want to, let's say, add the total income, right? So first you can see there's a format code. So if we double click on the format code, you will get all the actions that you need to do. So I want to do total. So you can see here there is something called as total of all other rows. Select that. Now just add the rows or enter the number of the rows that needs to be calculated. For example, for me I want income which starts from row number 130. So select row 130 and till 190. So I am selecting 190. So now what system understand, this is a total row and it will add values from row 130 to row 190. All the three values it will be added. Similarly, you can see there's a total COGS here. So if I double click, select total, and now total COGS starts from row 310. It goes till 400. So I am selecting 400. Gross profit. So how do you add gross profit? If you see your Excel sheet, gross profit is nothing but total income minus total COGS, right? So now, so for gross profit, I cannot select total now because I'm not doing total, but I'm applying formula. So select something called as complex calculation. Now define the formula. So total income is row 220 minus my total COGS is row 430. So in this way, system will take the total of total income and minus with total COGS. That gives you gross profit. Now let's come to total expense similar to this. So this is a total account and it should start from 580 and should go to 640. So that will give total expense. Now I need net income. So net income is nothing but a complex calculation. That is my formula. So for net income, gross profit minus total expense. So gross profit is 490 minus my total expense is 670. So this gives me so gross profit, I think I've taken to, yeah. So this gives me a calculated formula. So now if you see, my row definition is ready. So all the main accounts is added. I've linked the dimensions. Total I've added. Wherever formula is required, I've added that. This completes my row definition. Now click Control S and you can define a name. Let's say demo, and I would say row definition. So we understand this is related to my row. Add a description and click OK. So once you click OK, now you can see here demo row definition is completed. Now let's go to column definition. So for column definition, as I told you, I need a report P&L by business unit, right? So for business unit, I have picked three different financial dimension values. You can pick all the values that's there. Here, just for as an example, I have taken three columns. So now, how do you build a column? So once you, like the way we defined our row definition, here I'm going to define my column definition, and at each column we're gonna add a filter related to that particular value. So let's go to MR reporting. For column definition, click on column definitions, then click new. Now you can see my column definition. This is a new window for column definition. Now let me quickly go back to my Excel sheet. So before you define a column, so in the row definition, I have this name, right? So in my report, this should be my first column, because I should see what is the income header. I should see what is the main account. Then I should be able to see these particular values, right? So since the first row or column is always related to values that's there in the row. So in the MR report, the first one column type, select it as row definition description, sorry. If you see a row description, so when I select this, whatever row is there, so this would come in column 1. That's why it's important you select descriptions. Now let's go to next row, next column. In the next column, I'm going to select column definition. Let's say I want this 005 electronics. So this is a description header 3. You can define that. Then you have column type. So in the column type, I will select amount from financial dimensions. So why did I select amount from financial dimension? Because the value that I want to see in that particular column should be whenever a transaction is posted to this particular financial dimension value, only that should reflect here, right? Let's say if I am posting an expense and I'm using business unit electronics, that should come here. If I use business unit auto, that should come here. If I use business unit sporting, that should come here. That is the reason why I'm selecting financial dimension here. And if you scroll down here, you can see dimension filter. So double click and then select the particular dimension value that you want to see. So this is nothing but business unit. So if I double click here, you will get all the business unit values. So I need to select electronics. So now what happens, any transaction that is posted to this particular electronics would reflect here. Now, so this is coming from dimension filter that I've added. Now also there is a row definition that we have created. So let's take an example how it works, right? So I have selected this particular main account. So now any transaction posted to this main account plus this electronics value, only that would come here. That's how the values will be there. So main account number would reflect here and electronics would come here. So you will see that in the report. So that way you're gonna define your column definition. So let me do this for the other column also. You can copy paste easily. This is as good as an Excel sheet. So I have copy pasted. Now I just need to replace the header and we'll select this and let me add that here. And let me also filter the business unit values, right? Because I have selected 005 everywhere. So let's quickly go and select or change the values. So I don't want 005. So the next one is auto. So I will select auto. And the third one is 006. So you can go here and change this directly to 006. Just make it 006. Or you can click on the three dots, go inside, verify the details and do it. So my column definition is ready. Now column type, I selected financial dimension, fiscal year, base year, whichever year I'm running the report, that would be the base year, and period also. I think I will explain more of this probably in the coming sessions. Period cover, this is something we will understand. Now you have important whenever you define MR reporting, periodic and YTD, two important things. When you select periodic, let's say if I'm running for June month, I will only see June value if it's periodic. If it's year to date, let's say Jan to December is my financial year, and if I run a report for June period, the value will show from Jan to June total. So whenever you prepare a P&L report, you would always want to see business unit YTD and business unit periodic. I think both would be required. So I would need this, and the same column should reflect here also. What we can do, let's keep the same as it is. Copy all the three columns, put here. Now this is my periodic. Here let's do YTD. So in that way, one report can contain both periodic and YTD columns. So this will show only for a particular month, and this will show from the beginning of the year to that particular date. So that's periodic and YTD. Now you want to add some header, like when someone sees this, they should know this three column is periodic and this three column is YTD. So in that way, you can add here. If you go to insert auto text, month name. So this will show a month name. So it should show from B column to D column. So B to D, and click OK. So now if I run for June month, system will show BCD column as June. And similarly for this three column where I want to see as YTD, so go to insert auto text and I can select calendar year. So I can also type YTD. So it will reflect the year, and this should go from E column to G column. You can also add some color, like in case if my header wants to reflect. So let's say here I will make this light green and we will make this like orange, right? So you can change the bold and make it bold, make it your own font size and other things. Anyway, so just like how you do in Excel sheet. So this would create my column definition. Now click Ctrl S and give a name. So let's say demo column definition and click OK. So once you click OK, so that would reflect here. So my demo column definition is completed. Now row is done, column is done. Next thing is called as report definition. So click on report definitions. Now here I need to connect my row and report column together. So click new. So let's create a new report definition. So here you can see, I can see company name. Then you can see something called as detail level. You have three different options. So financial, if you select, you will only see value. Financial and account, if you select, you can see values. And if you drill down, you can also see main account. If you select the last option, you can see financials, then you drill down, you can see main account, you can further drill down into transaction. So ideally we always select the last option so that you can also see transaction and download and verify those transactions. Okay, then base period, by default, so I'm going to select S minus 1 default base period. So it's going to consider the base period, whichever period I'm running. Here in the building blocks, I can see something called as row. Select the row definition which we just defined. So that was demo row definition. Then you have column, again select demo column definition which we just defined. So my row and column is together combined here. Then you go to the next output and distribution. Don't need to make any changes here. Headers and footers. By default, you can see company description, unit description, period coverage is there. In case if you want to add any header or footer, you can type that here. Then in the settings, you have an option to rounding. Like if you want to round up, you can use here nearest 100. No rounding, it will not round. Or if you want to see in millions or billions or whole thousands, you have an option to select the particular aspect based on the requirement. So once you fill this, now let's not make any other changes. Just click Ctrl S and give a name for the report definition. So let's say demo report definition. So that is nothing but P&L by BU, business unit. Click OK. Now our MR report is ready, P&L by BU, which we just created. So you can see here demo report definition P&L by BU, which is ready. You can either generate from here or go to MSD. So initially it was not here, just refresh. You can see the new report would be available here. I think the name which we gave. So let's just type here and see if our report is here. Demo report definition. So our report is available. Now let's just generate. So report date, I'm running for June and click OK. So once you click OK, you can see financial report will be generated while you continue to work. So it will run through a batch job, waits for some time and the report will reflect here. So once the report is here, now you can go on view. So this is our first report which we just created using row and column definition. There you go. So that's our report. So you can see, we can see columns. I can see electronics, auto, sporting, the colors that we added. So I can see June here. So this will be June value and this will be YTD value. So you can see both same value currently because I think I have posted transaction only for June month. In case if you add transaction in the previous month, that would reflect here also. So just to verify that, right? So let's do that. Let's post one transaction for May month for one particular main account and let's see if that will change here. Okay, let's do that. So before that, you can see income, total income is available. Then you can see COGS, total COGS, gross profit, that is nothing but total income minus my total COGS 210. Then you can see non-operating expenses, my net income is 180. So that's how you get your P&L report. Now let's post one transaction to verify this value. So let me quickly go to one particular transaction. So let me post for May month. So let's select, I think 401100. Let's post for that. For product sales and business unit, I'm just going to select auto. So the second column would reflect. So let's add some date, that's important, make it May. So let's add around 12,000 and I'm just randomly selecting the offset account. So let me post this. So we have posted for May month. Now let's go back to our report, go back. So let's generate the report again for the month of June and click OK. So the second report is generated. Now let's go to view. So if you see the values now for auto, so where have I posted, just like so. Now if you see the values for June auto, sales income is 2400, whereas YTD is 32,400. That's because I just posted one transaction in May. So May, June together in YTD and for the June month here. Now, if you want to drill down, just click on this income. Remember, we have given three level. So here you can see at main account level and the combination, I can further drill down at transaction level. So if I click on this, this is the third level drill down where you can see transactions, so which is posted total transaction. So that's how you can drill down three level using your the drill down option which is defined in the MR reporting. Now before I just wind up, so let's say I want to add some underlines for total income, just to distinguish between the other ones and the total, right? So if I quickly go to my MR report, let's go to row definitions. So double click on demo row definition. So here you can see there is a total income. Now let's say for total COGS, I want to add some underline. So if you go here, you can see underscore amounts, double underscore amounts. Let's say I want to do a single line on this. So for this also I want to do, let's say, underscore amounts. Then here I want to do something like double underscore, so I'll put that. So these are the few things that you can work on once you start getting the base of your ML report. There are a lot of options that you can explore and do within the existing reports. So let me do a single here and probably a double here. So let's say control yes. Now let's run the report and see the difference between the old one and the new one. So if I go back here, so it will go back with all three levels. Let me generate the report again. So let's open the new report which I just generated. So now you can see there is 100. So for total income you have single, and for total COGS single here, and gross profit double. So just because we just added that, so you can modify this however you want and do it, right? So this is how you define MR reporting. Now there will be part 2 video which I will create. Probably will go a little bit of advanced. So I have just covered basic. That's it for today's session. Thanks everyone.